Hi class, Mr. Green here, and the topic for this video is learning multiplication. Today we're going to learn a little bit about the basics of multiplication in math. But before we do anything in any topic, it's always a good idea to go over some important terms or words that you should come to know and understand that you may come into contact with when you have word problems or problems on a test or whatever the case may be. So the first two words we're going to talk about are the two important words when it comes to multiplication are factor and product. So what's a factor and what's a product? Well, as you can see, I have a math equation on the right, 2 times 2 equals 4, which you saw in the first slide. And as you can see, the 2 and the 2 are labeled factors because when you multiply two numbers together, those numbers are called the factors. So both 2 and 2 are called factors. When you multiply numbers together, you're supposed to get an answer. And the answer is called the product. So in the equation 2 times 2 equals 4, the 2 and the 2 are the factors, and the number 4 is the product. Make sure you know what a factor is and what a product is. Okay, next up, when you're multiplying numbers, there are two really important rules that you need to understand that will make life a little easier when you're doing multiplication problems. The first rule is this: any number times 1 equals that number. So what do I mean by this? Well, I have a couple examples here. You can see 1 times 1 equals 1, 2 times 1 equals 2, 3 times 1 equals 3, 9 times 1 equals 9, so on and so forth. You could do 100 times 1 equals 100, a million times 1 equals a million. You know, there's a pattern you might be able to see. If you don't see it, it's always a good idea to draw pictures to help guide you while you're learning. And I have a story problem here that shows why 3 times 1, or the product of 3 and 1, equals 3. So here's a little story problem. If Mr. Green has 3 cups and puts 1 pencil in each cup, how many pencils altogether, or total? Well, as you can see, I've drawn 3 cups, cup 1, cup 2, and cup 3. In each cup, like it says, I've put 1 pencil. 1, 1, 1. How many pencils altogether? You just count them. 1, 2, 3. So the answer would be 3 because you have 3 cups, the number 3, and 1 pencil in each. 1, 1, 1 to get 3. So any number times 1 equals that number. So anytime you see a problem, if you see multiply by 1 or the X symbol for multiplication times 1, that number, the first number that's being multiplied by 1, is the answer or the product to that question. In addition to that rule, or anything times 1 equals that number, another important rule to follow when you're multiplying is that any number times 0 equals 0. So I have a couple examples here that show 1 times 0 equals 0, 2 times 0 equals 0, 3 times 0 equals 0, 8 times 0 equals 0, 263 times 0 equals 0. So again, you might be able to notice a pattern. Anytime a number is multiplied by 0, the answer is 0. I have a little story problem again that'll help you understand why anything times 0 is 0. So let's say I have Bob and Mary here. Bob, Mary. I'll give Mary a little bit of hair. If Bob and Mary, 2 people, each have 0 pencils, how many pencils do they have total? Well, this equation can be written as 2 for 2 people times 0 pencils equals. So if Bob and Mary each have 0 pencils, which means they have no pencils at all. I didn't draw any pencils because they don't have any. How many pencils do they have total? Well, we've got 2 people. We've been told they don't have any pencils. So how many pencils do they have total? 2 times 0. Answer 0. They don't have any pencils. So it's an easy way to understand that anything times 0 is always going to be 0. So now that you know the two important rules in multiplication, one being anything times 1 equals that number, and rule number 2 being any number times 0 equals 0, we're going to expand on that, and we're going to try an actual problem where there isn't a 1 and there isn't a 0. So here's a little sample. Let's say we're going to do 2 times 3 equals. So our factors are 2 and 3, and we don't have the product yet. So if we had a story problem that said something like, Bill has 2 cars. These will be our 2 cars. And in these 2 cars, car 1 and car 2, there are 3 people. I'll draw little heads, stick figures to represent our people. So we've got 2 cars, 2, 3 people in each. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. How many people total between the 2 cars? Well, once again, you'd count them. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the total number of people would be 6. So the answer, or product, is 6. So you always want to take this first number and draw a picture, 2. Say, here's number 2, let's draw 2 cars, 1 and 2. 3 people in each, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then add them together. Another way you could do this is by showing the numbers or the equation in what we call expanded or extended form, which draws out 3 plus 3 equals 6. So you turn your multiplication into addition, which basically all multiplication is condensed or shortened addition, because you'd be taking 3 plus 3 to equal 6. So 2 3s, 1, 2. 3 plus 3 equals 6 if you're expanding it into an addition problem. So there's a sample problem for you. If you have any problems, please let me know in class. Email me. We will be discussing some of these in class. We're going to be working on our own problems. We're going to make flashcards, which are a great way to learn these factors. And we're also going to be making a multiplication chart, which is another way to understand multiplication and to know a little easier. So again, try out some problems, bring your questions, remember the 2 rules we talked about, and remember the 2 terms, factors and products. All right, have a great time with multiplication.